Okay. All right. So let's just settle into meditation posture. So really try and feel, if most of us are sitting on chairs, I think, with the feet down. So just really try and connect with the earth through the soles of your feet. Really try and feel the earth supporting you. This earth that we walk around on that we take for granted. Actually, it's Earth Day this Saturday. Hip, you know, and your feet are hips width apart, shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Try and put some space in between those vertebrae. Imagine yourself getting longer. The head, you can just allow yourself a little bit of traction at the back of the neck as you tip your head forward very slightly. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the back of the head. Release any tension there. The ears, the inner ears, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Relax the back of the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. And relax your throat, chest. Imagine you've got in your at your sternum, the center of your chest, you have a little string of light as well, and it's kind of, you know, just pulling your chest a little bit forward and up. This is just kind of to counteract any round-shouldered action that might be happening. But if you do that, try not to put any tension on the lower part of the spine. Keep lengthening. And then just let that go, release, relax the belly and the limbs. Bring the mind to the breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then just notice if there are any sounds in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to be distracted by them or follow them with your mind. Excuse me. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice the sensation that are kind of arising in the mind, feelings in the body, thoughts. How are you interpreting it? Try not to judge what's in the mind. Try not to squeeze it too much. Just allow the thoughts just to simply arise, abide. And then you'll notice if you don't engage, they'll just kind of dissolve. They'll be replaced by other thoughts. Our mind is constantly moving. And just be like an objective observer. Curious, interested, fascinated even, but not judgmental. So we just put ourselves on the bank of our river And watch it flow on by with the knowledge that while we're sitting on the bank, we're free from the river. So bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, these people we're really deeply fond of, deeply in love with even, our spouses and children and best friends. And then there's those people in our life who we are finding quite difficult. And then there's our strangers. And keep in mind that they can all change place at any time. And as you're getting to know people, they move from the stranger group to the friend group. Maybe they'll move out to the people you find a bit irritating group. But you'll notice there all these relationships tend to move around. They swap, they change places, very impermanent. And even those relationships that we hold dear to our heart, long-term relationships, they can also change. People die. So then remember how everybody's equal, the same as us in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process it's basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind. We can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on the logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience, because we know from our present suffering, we don't really want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds, or they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And I also regret any anger and attachment and the rest are delusions that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. So we're not particularly asking Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're not wanting some kind of higher power to come along and fix us. We're doing the work ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and he's also your teacher, your spiritual mentor, your guide, however you see them, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, and he's sitting on a white lotus, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, maybe someone you've harmed in the past. And then remember those who have harmed you and just have compassion for them, because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. And the timing of that suffering or that problem that will arise is never going to be certain. So it could be really inconvenient. So have compassion for them because of that. They've already set the wheels in motion to attract that suffering. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And there, start with the purification of the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So every time someone sees you or hears you or feels you, or when you touch them, maybe they can smell you, your perfume, it benefits their mind. So next is the purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar again from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Hanarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch. It instantly dispels the darkness. So try that. Try thinking that next time you walk into a room and it's dark and the light goes on. Imagine rather than turning on the light, you are dispelling the darkness. So pretty much the same thing happens when, this is how we imagine, when the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is instantly dispelled with that light. So the depression and the anger or violence, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, anxiety, insecurity, disappointments, all of this instantly dispelled as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajama me mutta vaja bawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe ambajasapa samaya manupalaya vajasapa dina patita tida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajama me mutta vaja bawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe ambajasapa samaya manupalaya vajasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajama me mutta vaja bawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe ambajasapa samaya manupalaya vajasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajama me mutta vaja bawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe ambajasapa samaya manupalaya vajasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajama me mutta vaja bawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe. So you can imagine that, be delighted, all your delusions, which are the source of all of our suffering. This is what causes us to harm others with our body and our speech, our delusions. So now think it's all gone, purified, and there's no room in your heart. There's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and delight and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next we purify the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind, and imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a hum pe. Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the final step in the purification process. Very, very crucial. And here we just have to decide that we just don't want to harm, that we want to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. You just make a decision, and then it starts to happen. And so part of that process is to meditate, to contemplate on what it is that we would like to do, that we are becoming aware of, that is harmful to others, that hurts others. And we just try and get rid of that, try and get on top of that habit. Sometimes we hurt people inadvertently. We don't even know we've said something because we're not sensitive to how they are feeling. So maybe we want to be aware of people at a deeper level. So just something to consider. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you. And you think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think all phenomena are empty. They don't exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And Lama's, this is from His Holiness, right? Yeah. Oh, Leilong Rinpoche. This is a beautiful one, actually. The lamp of the Gaiden teachings, the supreme refuge Lama Zopa, has departed in order to rouse the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Karam's teacher's way of life and were bound to it night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings. Great master of the teachings, supreme guide for East and West, hidden yogi, Lama Tupten Zopa. Unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness, the Sovereign Lord of the Victorious Ones, as your crown and followed all his instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardship. One of great mind, Lama Zopa, you had held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and were their only savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of Ocean of Mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Tupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Gaiden teachings, in truth, a great son of the victorious ones. Having thought of me and other transmigratory beings of the degenerate age, from your seat of lotus and sun at the heart of Sangwa Yeshi, may the jewel that fulfills all wishes, emanating again with the brilliance of 10,000 suns, smile swiftly without obstacles to our eyes with tears of faith. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds out of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And because you share a beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Oh, it's okay, Michael, no worries. Thank you for putting that together. Okay, everybody, thank you so very much. Lots of love. When you get a moment, please send me your info. I know you're all really busy, so appreciate whatever you, just a couple of sentences, that's all we need, and a photo. Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Oh, tomorrow morning we're going to do the Tara meditation again. I think I'm just going to keep doing that until the 49th day, which I think is the 31st of May, something like that. If everyone's okay with that.
Lovely.
Okay. All right. Is there a message here? Okay, that was just Michael. All right. Good night, everybody. Lots of love. See you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Venerable.
Bye.